Imagine waking up at 50 and realizing you didn't choose your life. It just happened to you, not because you were lazy, but because you fell into invisible traps that stole your time, money, and confidence. Today, that ends. This is 5 Minute Genius, where smart people like you learn how to stop living on autopilot and start making razor sharp decisions that actually move your life forward. Stay with this video until the end, because once you see these 5 brutal traps, you won't be able to unsee them, and that's a very good thing. Opening frame. Why traps are dangerous. Most people don't get stuck because they are weak. They get stuck because the trap feels comfortable, socially approved, or normal. The danger is that by the time you notice the cost, you've already invested years in the wrong direction. Quick question. If your life stayed exactly the same for the next 10 years, would you be happy or horrified? That answer tells you if you're already in one of these traps. Let's break them down, starting with the one that steals more potential than any other. Trap number one, living for other people's approval. The first brutal trap is building your life like a public relations campaign instead of a mission. You choose your major, your job, even your relationships based not on what is meaningful, but on what looks impressive, safe, or acceptable to other people. You say yes when your whole body is screaming no. You post for likes instead of progress. You're more afraid of being judged than being unfulfilled. Pattern interrupt. Be honest, how many decisions in your life are sponsored by the imaginary board of directors in your head called "What Will People Think"? The cost? Chronic dissatisfaction, resentment, and a life that feels like a cost to you never take off. The shift is this: start treating approval as a bonus, not a requirement. Your life is not a group project. You are allowed to turn in your own work. And ironically, once you stop begging for validation, people start respecting you more. That takes us into the second trap, which hides behind the illusion of stability. Trap number two, golden handcuffs of comfort. The second brutal trap is the golden handcuffs, a life that looks good on paper but quietly kills your ambition. Maybe it's the decent job you hate, the okay relationship with no growth, or the it's fine lifestyle that keeps you from aiming higher. Comfort is seductive. It whispers, you can always change later, while quietly lowering your standards year after year. You stay because it's not that bad. You trade growth for predictability. You confuse comfort with happiness. Pattern interrupt. Think about the last time you were truly proud of yourself. Were you comfortable or slightly terrified? Exactly. To escape this trap, you don't need to burn your life down. You need to introduce intentional discomfort, learning a new skill, having hard conversations, taking small but real risks. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you loosen those golden handcuffs a little more. And speaking of growth, if you're still here, you're clearly serious about making smarter moves in life. If you're getting value from this and you want more content that helps you avoid life's hidden traps and make wiser decisions, pause for 2 seconds, hit that like button, subscribe to 5 Minute Genius, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to outsmart the traps that keep other people stuck. Alright, because the next trap is one almost everyone falls into without realizing it. Trap number three, the distraction addicted mind. The third brutal trap is treating your attention like it's worthless. You wake up and immediately donate your best mental energy to notifications, endless scrolling, and other people's agendas. We live in a world where billion-dollar companies compete to keep you distracted, outraged, or entertained for just one more minute. You check your phone more than your goals. You react all day but rarely create. You feel busy but not effective. Pattern interrupt. If your screen time were a bank statement, would you be proud of how you're spending your life, or would you quietly close the app in shame? The trap is brutal because distraction feels harmless in the moment, but it compounds into lost years of potential. Reclaiming your life starts with reclaiming your attention. Set no phone blocks where you focus on one meaningful task. Turn off non-essential notifications. Ask daily, what are my top 3 real priorities today? Trap number four, the victim mindset. The fourth brutal trap is the victim mindset. The story that life is something that constantly happens to you, not something you can influence. In this mindset, responsibility feels like blame, so you reject it and stay stuck. I can't get ahead because of the economy. I can't be happy because of my past. I can't change because that's just how I am. Are there real obstacles? Absolutely, but the victim trap teaches you to stare at the wall instead of searching for doors, ladders, or sledgehammers. Trap number 5, surrounding yourself with the wrong people. The fifth brutal trap is underestimating how much your environment, especially your relationships, sculpts your future. You become like the people you repeatedly allow into your head, your calendar, and your habits. If your circle normalizes complaining, procrastination, and low standards, guess what starts to feel normal to you? Friends who mock your goals, partners who drain your energy, colleagues who bond only over negativity, pattern interrupt. Think of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they your future or your past? This trap is brutal because loyalty is often used as a weapon. You've changed, they say, as if that's a bad thing. But growth requires outgrowing some dynamics. You don't need drama, you need alignment. You start to escape this trap by spending more time around people who are where you want to be, limiting time with those who consistently pull you down, realizing that I wish you well from a distance is a perfectly valid boundary. How these traps work together, these traps don't show up separately, they stack. Living for approval pushes you into comfortable but misaligned choices, which you then numb with distractions, blame on circumstances, and reinforce by surrounding yourself with people who are doing the exact same thing. But here's the powerful truth: avoiding these traps isn't about being perfect. It's about being awake every time you catch yourself in one of them and choose differently, even once you are rewriting your story. This is 5 Minute Genius, reminding you that your life is shaped less by what happens to you and more by the traps you refuse to fall into ever again.